Shalom. The upcoming days mark an important moment for Jewish people across the globe. The 39th World Zionist Congress elections taking place in Canada from June 5 to June 15th. Established by Theodor Herzl in 1897, the World Zionist Congress is the democratic assembly of the Jewish people, a unique forum where Jews from around the world elect representatives to help shape Zionist priorities, allocate resources, and influence key decisions impacting Israel and the Jewish diaspora. Every few years, Jewish people in each country have the opportunity to vote for slates that reflect their vision for Jewish life, for Zionism, and for the future of the State of Israel. Here in Canada, one of the most compelling delegations running is United for Israel, led by community leaders like Dr. Marat Ressin, an educator, an entrepreneur, and a passionate advocate for Jewish unity. Dr. Ressin joins us today to share why this election matters and how Canadian Jews can make their voices heard on the global Zionist stage. Dr. Ressin, shalom. It's truly a pleasure having you here today. Shalom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Happy to be here.
We're very happy to have you. You're someone that has worn many hats in his life. You're an educator, an entrepreneur, a community leader, and now leading candidate in the World Zionist Congress elections. Before we talk about the present, let's talk, if you don't mind, about your personal journey. Your story begins far away from Canada. Can you please share with us what inspired you early in the connection for Jewish identity and Zionism, and how that journey eventually brought you to community leadership where you are now here in Canada?
Yeah, good question. I was born in Russia in a Jewish secular family, which really believed in core Jewish values. So I always, since my early childhood, I was taught to see the world with Jewish eyes and with Jewish moral values. My grandmother, and actually my mom, who was a toddler back then, she spent 20 years in Stalin's prisons and camps.
Wow.
And when she lived, I saw her. She was strong. She wasn't broken. And when I asked her, like, how you survived as a character, as a person, she always told me, you have to have some important core values inside yourself, and you have to be proud of who you are. And that's the way how you not be broken in any circumstances. It was a very good lesson for me. So I was raised next to this person. I believe she was a sage and a hero. And later on, I was drafted to mandatory military service to the Russian army. And it happened accidentally that I came to the international military base where Jews were not allowed. It just happened accidentally. So I was the only Jewish person in 10,000 people base, military base. Yeah. And many people came to me to ask, like, if Jews actually use the blood of Christian toddlers to make matzah and all this stuff. They didn't want to insult me. It just, they were curious. I was the only Jew for 10,000 people, And I wasn't afraid. And I remember the lesson that I learned from my grandparents and parents. And I decided to show people that I'm proud of who we are. And I answered the question patiently, and I spoke with everyone. And I saw how it works. People started to respect me and to respect all of us through my behavior. You know what? I even came up with the idea. I came to our commanders and I say, can I please make a series of lectures about Jews and Jewish history?
To your fellow soldiers?
Yeah, to the fellow soldiers. Yeah.
Wow.
And they agreed, they actually liked it. But I had to learn more about it. So I went to the library, I even asked my mom to send me books, and I prepared, and I gave to the entire base, like hundreds of people who came to listen to me, a series of lectures about the history, the ancient history of of Israel, about Jewish communities, about modern history, and about Zionism. Because in Soviet propaganda, Zionism was equal to any terrible stuff you can think of.
To fascism, in a way.
Yeah, I just want to say this. Yeah, exactly. They said Zionism is a fascism. And I had to explain to them that Zionism is something else. Like that we are native people of this land, and Zionism is our desire to build our life, our homeland. And,
you had to actually educate them out of their ignorance, which is the biggest problem in anti-Semitism, ignorance about Judaism.
Yeah, the good thing that those people already, at least to some extent, respected me because of my behavior before. And thanks, as I said, thanks to my grandmother and to my parents, that I was trained, I was prepared to this situation. And that's how I understood, that's how I learned my lesson. That's how I knew that you cannot be silent, you cannot be afraid. More than that, you have to be proud and you have to be proactive.
Yeah. You know, it's fascinating to see how your personal path mirrors so many of the stories in our global Jewish family of displacement, of rebuilding, and leadership. I want to ask you, as the former president of the Canadian Zionist Federation and the founder of the Russian-speaking Jewish Forum here in Canada, you've been involved in shaping Canadian Jewish lives. And I know you personally. I know how involved you are. How has the landscape changed in the past few years, and especially when it comes to Zionism and advocacy for Israel? How things have changed from your perspective?
I think things changed a lot, even within Jewish community, because when I came to Canada from Russia almost 17 years ago, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, pretty successful, and I donate a lot to different Jewish projects. So right after our arrival to Canada, I was invited to the Federation, the Jewish Federation here, and they explained to me that it's not a good idea to donate directly to different Jewish projects. It's better to do it through Federation, and then we'll decide how to distribute the money, this and that. I said, yeah, but I want to support specifically this, that, and that, projects for Jewish Russian community. They said, no, we will decide together, this and that, but we like Jewish immigrants, we respect you guys. And the vice back then, the vice president of Federation here said, I will not be even against if my son will marry your daughter. I said, what? I said, thank you very much. I learned. And that was the point when I decided we need this federation, the Jewish Russian Community Federation. I haven't founded it. It existed for years. It was dormant enough. So I found the papers, I re-registered it, got charitable status, this and that. And we created this like little box. So Jewish Russian entrepreneurs and successful people, as well as Israeli new Canadians, donate money to this box, because people know me, people know people who are involved, and everyone understands we're not taking anything to ourselves or something.
Of course.
Like all the people that work with us, they are volunteers. So it's like a box. We collect the money, and then we distribute the money everywhere in Canada to different projects for immigrant Jews.
In Canada?
In Canada, yeah. Most of them, almost everyone is coming from Israel, Russian-speaking Jews, Israelis who are in Canada. So vast majority of people who deal with us, they're people coming recently from Israel, Russian-speaking and non-Russian-speaking. So, and when we created this organization, when it became strong, we had this feeling that other members of Jewish community, they changed their behavior. They look at us not as second-class citizens anymore, but equal, strong community. We can act together. We can support. We can collect the money ourselves. We don't ask them. We can support our own projects, and we're happy to be friends. We're happy to be brothers, but not little brothers anymore. And it was very important. This is the point of empowerment of people. Many people told me that it's important for them to have this feeling of own community, which is strong. Also, this is a great tool to influence Canadian politicians. When the war started in Israel, I happened to be the president of Canadian Zionist Federation by that moment. And through our community and through federation as well, we were able to influence the government, the prime minister, and other officials. You cannot change everything in a minute, but you can...
To influence the government and the prime minister of Canada.
Of Canada, yes. I met Trudeau personally and other people. And I'm not sure if you remember, but at the very beginning, at the first day or two, their rhetoric was really anti-Israel. And then it changed. And this is the result of influence different organizations, including us. But on top of that, we were able to do many important things, like secretly, because politicians, they say something, but sometimes if you come from the position of power, you can solve important issues, which we did. We helped Israel a lot, and we cannot even say everything on public, but we had to have this important community and this power, which may influence and solve problems.
So in other words, you created the Jewish lobby in Canada.
I could say not just Jewish lobby, it's like Jewish immigrant lobby.
Jewish immigrant lobby. Yeah.
Now, because Jewish lobby exists for centuries here, but their vision is a little bit different. They're much more left-wing, right? They do not share necessarily all the values that we share, because our vision is right-wing without any tricks, without any frills, like normal right-wing position to everyone who shares it.
Marat, we're living in times that are both deeply challenging for Jews and incredibly consequential. You talked about the war, the October 7 events here in Canada. Why is this World Zionist Congress election now are particularly important? And if you could also talk about the United for Israel delegation, what is so crucial now for Canadian Jews to take a step further? And if you can a little bit explain the context of both the delegation and this election right now. What is so important now in this time?
Yeah. First of all, about the elections to the Congress, I always ask people, is it possible to be a Zionist while sitting in Canada? And I believe that yes, but you have to think about Israel. You have to do something. Yes, you can donate money. Yes, you can volunteer. Yes, you can go there and do something. But also, you can influence something that happens with Israel through elections of delegates to the Congress. Because Congress controls about 17% of land in Israel. Congress controls about $1.5 billion of the budget that Jewish communities around the globe collect for Israel for different programs, and so on. The way how Zionist structures work around the globe. Now, what happened 5 years ago? First time in the history in the Zionist Congress, right-leaning group got the majority. First time in the history, because of course at the beginning of Zionist Congress, it was really left-leaning group, of course, the first Zionists, right? But now, first time, the right-wing group got the majority for 7 seats out of 525. 7 seats, and 5 of them were ours. Like we got 5 seats out of 20 in Canada 5 years ago, and because of us, the first time. Right, majority. It changed a lot. Like I don't know if you have time, but I can explain how it works differently. And we need to keep this more. We need to keep this this time as well. Now, United for Israel. Why we call it our slate United for Israel? Because we have to be together. All the problems when we compete, when we don't like each other, we have to be brothers. We have to hug each other. We specifically called this slot United for Israel because we thought everyone will join us there. I even didn't want to have these elections. I thought we would rather spend money on Israel directly than to spend money on the elections, but unfortunately, I'm not the only person who decides. Right? So our group consists of basically Jewish immigrants in Canada, right-wing program. Everyone is very welcome to go to our website, which is unitedforisrael.ca, and see our program. It's a strict, honest, right-wing program, and we have to have it. So, we have to have a right-wing majority in the Congress now. B, we have to have our group represented. And also, which is very important, if on these elections we will lose our position, then other Jewish communities will again look at us as second-class citizens. They'll say, "Oh, you guys cannot organize yourself," right? Which was changed 5 years ago dramatically, to the extent that I was elected as the president of Canadian Zionist Federation, and I'm the very first Russian-speaking Jew who was elected as the president of Zionist Federation of a Western country.
And you've been in Canada how long, Marat?
Almost 17 years.
Right. So, you know what? I think this is a perfect moment to watch a short clip about this election. Let's see it.
האם אפשר להיות ציוני ולחיות בקנדה? בהחלט שכן. בגלל שישראל זאת ההיסטוריה המשותפת שלנו והעתיד שלנו. אנחנו עם אחד, והקונגרס הציוני העולמי הוא הפרלמנט של העם היהודי כולו. 1 ל5 שנים יש לנו זכות וגם אחריות לבחור מי ייצג אותנו שם. לפני 5 שנים הרשימה שלנו שלחה 5 נציגים ושינתה את מהלך ההיסטוריה. לראשונה הושג רוב ימינים בקונגרס. פתחנו את האפשרות לרכישת אדמות ליהודים בצפון, ביהודה ושומרון. חיזקנו את הביטחון הישראלי בזמן לחימה. קידמנו את החדשנות הישראלית בזירה הבינלאומית, והבאנו כבוד וגאווה לקהילה היהודית בתפוצות. הבחירות לקונגרס הציוני מתקיימות עכשיו, גם מהבית. הצביעו עכשיו באתר voteforisrael.ca, בחרו רשימה מספר 1, ביחד ננצח.
ביחד ננצח. And I want to say, there was in one of the shots, in one of the clips in the video, we saw you sitting next to a young man. I hope you will allow me to say that this is your son, Dima. And that brings me exactly to the next question. Many young Jews, Marat, feel disconnected from the traditional institutions, from Zionism. How do you see, what is your vision about bringing them back into not only the Zionist conversation, but ensuring that the World Zionist Congress doesn't become, a relic of the past, but a platform for Jews in the future?
Yeah, yes, on that picture, it was my son. He was in Israel, by the way, serving IDF. He happened to be in Gaza for 9 months, and it was interesting times for our family, of course, as you can imagine. I myself spent 3 months there helping IDF and Israel in general. Anyway, so basically, people say, how managed you to send your son to serve on IDF? I wasn't sending him, I raised him this way, right? I believe, I told you my own story, and I know, again, as my grandmother told me, you have to have this inner core, and then you will succeed in life. So that's the way how I raised my kids, and he decided to go as well. And we have to make sure that the souls of our young generation is not empty. Okay, Jewish moral values are very important. Judaism is very important, but also Zionism is very important because it's part of who we are. So we're not shy and this and that. And by the way, I'm, as you know, I'm a university professor, right? And when Jewish speakers or soldiers from IDF come to university, there's a special crowd of haters who come and yell and whatever. And it works better if a professor shows up. I'm the only Jewish professor who shows up to such an event because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid wearing kippah. Wow. I'm not afraid to show up. And
in York University, you mean?
Yeah.
When you do your lectures in York University, wow.
Exactly. And I'm the president of Canadian Zionist Federation. And I can tell you that when the war started, basically the university indirectly pushed every Jewish professor to publicly say something against Israel. And people said terrible things. One professor said, I'm not shaking his hand anymore, he said that the Zionism is a cancer on the body of Jewish nation, something like that, and even more. I was the only person who never was approached by administration, by trade union, by anybody.
They didn't even try with you. They didn't even try. They knew that they knew there's no way you're going to agree.
Exactly. So I have many Muslim students from Iran, from Arab countries, from
and they respect your position.
All of them. I don't know if they respect my position, but they respect me. They always treat me with respect. They never ask something. I never, ever heard anything against me. Why? Because they know they know I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of what I do, and that's it.
Marat, I want to ask you: if United for Israel, your delegation secures a significant representation in Congress, in the World Zionist Congress, what are, let's say, the top 3 priorities you personally would champion, and what long-term change would you like to see in the global Zionist movement over the next, let's say, decade?
Yeah, very good question. Before I answer this, I want to say what we actually did for the past 5 years, because before you say about the plans, say what you did. I was the member of Congress for 5 years, and we actually managed to do something. First of all, there's an organization called Imanuta, which was controlled by very left for years. For the last 5 years was more or less controlled by us, and it went right wing. And the purpose of this organization is to purchase land from Arabs and use it for Jewish needs. And so what left did, like basically they did nothing for years. And sometimes when they did something, they gave it even to Arabs back. Unbelievable. So what we're trying to do now, first of all, we're much more active. Secondly, we pushed the bylaw, the regulation that allows to use the land not only for museums or some cultural stuff as it was before. Because, for example, if you purchase the land in the middle of nowhere up north, what kind of museum will it do there, right? So we agreed to use it for Jewish commercial needs as well. So the land belongs to Congress, but it can be used by Jewish entrepreneurs for commercial needs, meaning we're able to raise like 10 times more money for that. Okay, I think it's very important. I think it's a real Zionist approach. That's one thing. The second thing, as you know, I'm professor of entrepreneurship, and me and one more member, we pushed forward the proposed law that will make every Zionist organization in every country to promote Israeli innovation. So, for example, some startup from Israel wants to come to some whatever market, to any country, the Zionist Federation there have to help them. Not just nice thing to do or whatever, or we are leftist enough.
Mandatory.
Yeah, now it's mandatory. So this law passed almost unanimously, and I'm proud of this. This is like really my thing. It's my professional thing that I pushed, and it works very well. We did a good conference here in Canada and in other countries, and really Israeli startups now have these great channels. There are many channels, but we do have these Zionist channels, established Zionist channels in every country. So now we use this for promotion. Now, why is it also important? Not only for Israeli startups. It's basically how people see Israel. Because normally, like, Israel is the war, poor Gaza, blah, blah, this and that. But if our Zionist channels promote Israeli innovation, it changed the approach. I believe other people in other countries may see Israel more as the light of the world, right? As a source
and also as an unquestionable fact.
Yeah, exactly. We're a startup nation, and we want people to see us this way. This is my professional thing, and I was able to bring it, and I'm really proud of it. And many other things, because when we had right-wing majority doesn't mean we can do whatever we want, of course, but many things changed. I know you spoke with Hagoel today. He is the first time in the history right-wing president of World Zionist Organization.
He's from the Likud, yeah.
He's from the Likud, I know him very well. But.
And by the way, we should also add that Unity for Israel is a bipartisan delegation. It's not connected to any party in the Israeli politics.
No, United for Israel. So last time, 5 years ago, we called ourselves the way how our organization called, which is Canadian Forum of Russian-Speaking Jewry. You can look at the website of World Zionist Organization and see the groups that participate. So we called ourselves exactly like this, the Canadian Forum of Russian-Speaking Jewry. This time we decided to call ourselves United for Israel just because of the war, because I really have this feeling we have to be, together. And also we see that many Israeli Canadians join us as well, because they share our platform. So we didn't want to be stuck with this Russian-speaking thing, and that's why. Now, we do collaborate with other organizations. First of all, we are definitely right-wing group. So we're happy to collaborate with Likud, we're happy to collaborate with others. We're happy to collaborate with Israel Beitenu in terms of supporting Jewish Russian community, but we are independent.
Yeah.
If we agree on something, we vote with them. If we disagree, nobody can convince us.
Yeah, that's important. That's important to clarify. And Marat, I have to say honestly that I know you personally for a few years already, and I don't think there's someone in our community that contributes and advocates more than you do. And it's amazing to look at your journey. You're an immigrant yourself, like you said, 17 years ago, you got to Canada. Maybe in one of our next shows, we will talk about how you got here, which is also an amazing story of itself. And I will also add to our viewers that right after this interview, we will broadcast a special short movie that we did with you in Israel that will broaden a little bit the perspective about your journey. And I want to wish you, both you and your delegation, much success, בהצלחה, in your vision, and thank you very much for your passion and everything that you do, both for Israel and both for the Jewish community here in Canada. And I want to wish your delegation success in this coming election. As you said, it's called United for Israel. .ca is the website. What needs to be done is you actually need to go in, right, and register, and then vote number 1. This is your delegation's number. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct. So anyone can go to this website, unitedforisrael.ca, right now and pre-register. So the moment when voting will be open, we'll send the link and we'll send an email. But from June 5th to June 15th. Again, going to the same website, you click vote, and then it will bring to that voting company. It's a huge American company that facilitates elections, like different political elections, like everywhere around the world. And then register with them. They will ask to pay $2, and the reason, the money goes to them. That's their compensation.
It's to verify, right? It's actually to verify. Yeah.
Most important is to verify. It should be a Canadian credit card. One credit card may be used for 3 family members.
Okay.
In case if people don't have credit cards, whatever. And then, while registered, people will get the code by email and the link, and then go to the link. They will see 8 lists, and we managed to be number 1, United for Israel. You're welcome to see the programs of everyone, and I think it's a good idea to see all the programs, but you will see that our program is the only one, like really right-wing, no tricks.
Patriotic,
Exactly how you see the world. And vote number 1.
I encourage all our viewers to vote, both Israeli, Russians, all Jewish Canadians, to vote and to make a difference and to influence. Marat, תודה רבה. Thank you very much, and בהצלחה.
תודה רבה.
Thank you. Bye-bye.